gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. Welcome to those of you online. Welcome to the 2024 SuDS Awards. Delighted to see you. Delighted to be in Wales on what can only be described as an characteristically sunny day, not wishing to cast aspersions. My name is Andy Moores. I'm the Research Director at CIRIA. And a great pleasure to welcome you today and sort of be the compare. I am slightly nervous. We've had all sorts of IT sort of issues, obviously not being on your home patch adds to those, but please bear with us. Hopefully everybody can hear it loud and clear online. Just to make you aware, we are recording and I'll go through some more housekeeping later. First of all, thank you very much to our host, Arab. Obviously, a great venue. I've obviously participated, for those of you in the room, on the site visit that we've just been on, which was fantastic. But it's fair to say there's been a lot more effort expended behind the scenes, most notably by Nathan and Hannah, who've done a sterling job in running around after us from an IT, printing, and all the rest of it perspective. So our support is very, very much welcome. I'm delighted to hear from Chris in a moment. This is where the site visit has just been. The wonders of Greener Grange Town, Wood Street and Churchill Way, and just a flag that it's Ben, isn't it, from Atkins, has also helped out with the tour. So thank you very much to Ben from Atkins Realis. Just in terms of mechanics, I've already said this is being recorded. Those of you that are online are in listen-only mode. Please do use the chat box if you need support. We have a team squirreled away in one of the offices just over the way there, who hopefully will be able to sort out any IT gremlins that you may have. If you're online and you're shortlisted for an award, we are hopefully, touch wood, going to promote those of you that are winning an award to panelists, which you would need to accept on your computer, and then the camera would turn on and things like that. So if that is the case, please click on join as panelist when prompted, hoping that that all goes smooth. Recipe for disaster, but let's see how we go. Okay, so just a little bit of background. CIRIA is the Construction Industry Research and Information Association. We're a not-for-profit, member-based organisation. And essentially, we sit at the interface between academic research and operational practice. And we really produce guidance and knowledge sharing aimed at improving performance of the UK's built environment and construction sectors. We're obviously very well known, particularly in the SuD space, with the tone is the SuDS manual. Many of you have seen it printed out when we were having our sandwiches earlier, and for a few people that's a surprise when they first see it in hard copy form. We're obviously an independent. We produce what is non-commercially biased and authoritative guidance, and we also deliver high-quality training courses, webinars, events, awards, and other things to enable that knowledge sharing to be successful. We are a broad church. So this is our current list of CIRIA members. It ranges from everywhere from government departments through agencies of government like Network Rail, the Environment Agency, through the Tier 1 supply chain, the utilities sector, through the wider supply chain, includes academia, and also includes some local authority representation. So in that diversity is really our strength in terms of actually bringing people from different sectors together to work out what good really looks like. So we're incredibly grateful to those of you that are CIRIA members. Our research ambitions, well, my voice is going already, this is a bad sign. Our research ambitions could be considered a little bit of motherhood and apple pie, but we are increasingly, we're very well known for our individual products, but we, until recently, lacked an overarching strategy. And so the ambitions of embedding sustainability, achieving net zero carbon, increasing resilience, improving delivery in terms of efficiency, and harnessing innovation are really at the core of what we do. And those really permeate through all of our guidance products, our training, our events, etc. We also produce a range of outputs, and this is one of those slides that has multiple clicks. We're obviously very well known for our guidance. There is the aforementioned SuDS manual, the Natural Flood Management Manual that was also doing the rounds at lunchtime. We're also got an extensive range of training, particularly within the SuDS space, 4 different courses on SuDS Foundation, designing SuDS, SuDS construction, etc. We also have a range of networking events. So we have annual lectures, which was recently given by a combination of Jim Hall from the National Infrastructure Commission and Julie Foley from the Environment Agency. We've got an annual debate coming up in October. And then, of course, we have these award ceremonies, the SuDS Awards and also the Biodiversity Awards. We run communities of practice. susdrain is the most mature of those and obviously has looked after the SuDS community for a number of years. But we also have communities of practice around modern methods of construction, build off-site, soil and biodiversity. And last but no means least, we also have tools. So CIRIA Best has evolved from what was an Excel-based spreadsheet, following UKRI support and the support of many within industry. It's now an online software tool which starts to quantify the benefits that are derived from blue-green infrastructure to help enable making business cases easier. And it deals with benefits across a whole range of water quality, water quantity issues, but also things that people may not consider around air quality, crime, education, etc. So a very useful tool in terms of trying to quantify the benefits that derive over and above traditional engineering methods for blue-green infrastructure. We're at a susdrain event, so we are enormously grateful to our susdrain partners and our susdrain supporters there. Much like CIRIA as a membership organisation as a whole, again, the strength is in the diversity there. So obviously it includes a range of client organisations in terms of utilities and government agencies, but also product suppliers, landscape architects, various others in terms of the sort of tier 1 and other consultants. And it is that diversity which really brings the strength. So we try to produce products which are fit for purpose across that diverse range. Okay, the programme for today. Basically, touch wood, that will go smoothly, but we've got keynote addresses coming up in a moment. We've got a bit of an overview of who susdrain are, and then we're going to go into the awards proper. And for those people in the room, we'll be having some networking drinks on the terrace upstairs, which should be glorious once the sun goes down a little bit, and then there is an informal dinner. So with that, I am delighted to announce our first keynote speaker, who is Hugh Irankar-Davies from the Welsh Government. He's Cabinet Secretary for Climate Change and Rural Affairs, and I know a big advocate of SuDS and blue-green infrastructure. Particularly grateful, given that we're in a pre-election purdah period, so he's obviously a little bit limited on what he can say. But I won't make any faux pas like Rishi did in terms of asking him what he thought about the football last night. Hugh, over to you.
I mentioned the football. Or rugby at the moment. Or any other sport. Although we're doing pretty good on Crown Green bowls at the moment. Our time will come again. You just mentioned there that, curiously, I am genuinely quite an advocate for sustainable urban drainage and SuDS. It's because way back when, I'm a bit of a recycled minister. So at one time, I was the relevant minister in this area in DEFRA in UK government a couple of decades ago, when this was an emerging field. So some of the original regulations and the guidance and so on that came forward was way back then, but how much it has moved on since then, and some of the things that you've been actually seeing today. So genuinely, when a lot of politicians, when you mention SuDS, they go, what? When I get invited to something about SuDS, I go, yeah, let me get there, because this is really something that's cutting edge and we need to be advocating for. So let me just say a few words here to get you underway this afternoon. Yn gyntaf, paidwch â poeni now, I will translate as I go along. Just a few words in Welsh, but most of what I'll be delivering this afternoon will be in English. So, prynawn da pawb sydd yn y seremoni o broio susdrain. Dwi'n diolchgar I susdrain am y gwahoddiad I siarad yma, ac I bob un ohonych chi sydd wedi teithio tu allan I Gymru, croeso cynnes iawn i'n prif ddinas. Good afternoon to you all at the SuDS Awards ceremony. Very grateful to SuDS who've been for the invitation to speak at this event, and to all of you who've travelled from far outside Wales, a very warm welcome to our capital city, and in this glorious weather as well. And if you're not from this, I'll actually contradict what you said, it's always like this. So, real pleasure to address you here today on behalf of the Welsh Government, and I thank as well Arif Cardiff here for hosting us and for their support of today's excellent event as well. Now, as Cabinet Secretary for Climate Change and Rural Affairs, the huge challenges that we face as a result of climate change, they just aren't an abstract idea to me. I see them day in, day out in every aspect of my work. So as a government, we know that we have to take some quite challenging choices on very complex and often competing priorities, including the need for urgent need for new high-quality homes, for job creation, for investment in transport, and in my own portfolio, support for our agricultural sector to adapt to changing conditions. Now, this is one of the reasons why Wales, as some of you will know, unique Wales, has the Wellbeing and Future Generations Act, some of you might have heard of. It's a global first that gives a legally binding common purpose. The 7 wellbeing goals for national government, for local health boards, and other public bodies. What does it do in short? Well, it sets out how we have to work together to improve the well-being of Wales and to safeguard its precious natural resources for those who come after us, for this and for future generations. That becomes very interesting in terms of what we're talking about today. So the Future Generations Act sets the context for us to work together with true sustainability at the very heart of everything that we do. And it sets a precedent as well for Wales being a world leader in sustainability. So, after consulting widely with a range of private and public sector stakeholders, and after receiving support from the Senedd, Wales was the first country in the world to take forward statutory sustainable drainage systems, commencing provisions in Schedule 3 of the Flood and Water Management Act in January 2019. I was there at the beginning. It was great to be here at that point as well, having come home to Wales in our Senedd. It's an achievement that we are rightly proud of. So we believe that SuDS can play a key role in tackling the increased risks created by climate change, and the 6 statutory standards in the legislation are powerful tools in ensuring our new developments create cleaner and greener places for people to live and work, as you've seen today in your tour. It's been challenging, I have to say, to be the first to make a success of such radical legislation, and we're really grateful to everybody in the public and the private sectors who worked with us to get us to where we are now. We do know, by the way, that this has not come without challenges. It's put enormous pressure, not least on our local authorities, and that's why I have to say it's enormous credit to our 22 local authorities that they have created and managed the SuDS approval bodies across the nation, ensuring that standards are met for each and every application. Designing and installing SuDS is now just very much the norm in new developments across Wales, and it's going to stay that way. So despite the challenges, we in Welsh Government believe that we have blazed a trail on SuDS, which others can now follow. I've made clear my commitment to constructive cross-border working as well, by the way, with our neighbours within the UK, and I'm very much looking forward to working with England and other nations going together on this journey of SuDS that we all have to make. Now, it was always our intention, by the way, to review this groundbreaking laws 2 years after the implementation. COVID delayed this work slightly, inevitably. However, we engaged today's host, Arab, to carry out a full and an extensive review of our uses of Schedule 3, and that was published just last summer. It contained more than 70 recommendations from across both public and private sectors, and ensured that all who had experience of Welsh statutory SuDS had their say. Now, we've considered this report see where we can make changes to keep improving the way that SuDS legislation is used and applied in Wales. To do this, we brought together a SuDS community of practice to act as a guide and to support and resource and to be a critical friend to us. So I'd like to thank all those organisations who are part of this process for your input and your patience. Your efforts will help us in developing a more effective SuDS legislation. Now, as we continue to work on improving delivery of SuDS, there are a few things that I want to flag today that we're really keen to focus on. First of all, we want to make the system easier and more consistent to use. Secondly, we want to ensure that future maintenance is adequately planned for and funded at the design stage. And thirdly, we want to help local authorities to sustain and develop their SAB services. And also, by the way, we want Welsh Government to play its part as a convener and an enabler of the industry in continuing to attract the best and the brightest talent and to ensure continual professional development right across the sector. So SuDS legislation and the framework we have is here to stay. We intend to work to improve the effectiveness of the implementation and ensure that they deliver the better design and the benefit to the environment that we all want to see, some of which you'll have seen earlier today. Making a real difference requires sometimes government to act and also those challenges of society changing as well. So here in Wales, we must and we will continue to play our part. There is a real urgency to embed these changes and ensure that our developments are more resilient to the impacts of climate emergency. But there are also opportunities to deliver solutions that offer multiple benefits. This is a big challenge as people rightly demand immediate action, for example, on cleaner rivers and on beaches. And as a keen environmentalist myself, I share that goal. I want to take every opportunity to provide, for example, better habitats for biodiversity. With finite resources, we know we've got to do this in a very targeted way, wherever we can, to use nature-based solutions. Now, I know you've been seeing some of the SuDS sites in Cardiff today in this glorious sunshine as part of your visit. I hope you gained some insight from them and some inspiration from them as well. And I want to, in advance, just warmly congratulate the winners of today's awards. I've got to apologise, I can't stay with you. The Senate is still sitting at this moment. I need to be back there for statements and so on, so I'll have to leave you. But warmly congratulate you and for all of your efforts from myself and also from your peers as well. And in terms of susdrain, I'm absolutely convinced that it's going to go from strength to strength as SuDS becomes just part of the norm of what we do in our communities. For our part, we'll do all we can to make sure Wales continues to lead the way. So congratulations, llongyfarchiadau I chi gyd, to everyone who's been nominated. And diolch yn fawr iawn, thank you all for listening. Diolch yn fawr iawn am gwrando. Diolch.
Great speech. And the key here is actually having that high-level mandate and sponsorship actually to make some of these things happen. You know, most of the people in the room represent the sort of practitioner community, and it's fantastic to hear a politician who really believes and advocates for this stuff. So thank you very much. I'm delighted now to hand over to Chris Ellis from Arup, who is going to perhaps touch on some of the elements that Hugh was just describing in review. How SuDS in Wales is working.
Right hand button, yeah. Brynhan Bar, good afternoon. Firstly, a massive thank you to the Cabinet Minister for taking the time to join us today. Your keynote emphasises the Welsh Government's commitment to sustainable development. It's a privilege to be hosting the SuDS Awards here in Cardiff today, and a warm welcome to our office here in Cardiff, and I think warm is probably the key word there. I've been working in the industry for 12 years now, delivering projects across the design cycle, but I've also been involved in policy reviews, including the review of Schedule 3. I'm going to talk briefly about my experience, my SuDS journey that I've witnessed firsthand here in Wales, and I'll be focusing on some of the lessons learned along the way. Sustainable drainage has played an important role in solving our catchment problems at scale. For example, rewind 15 years, Llanelli, Welsh Water embarked on a pioneering catchment approach to solving widespread flooding and storm overflow issues within a catchment. This saw £100 million invested in green infrastructure solutions across the catchment in the following 8 years. Here's an example of Cambrian Swale, just one of the solutions that was implemented. This was instead of employing a fully grey storage tank approach to solving the problem, although it's important to mention that there was grey infrastructure implemented as part of the scheme as well. The catchment approach took time to deliver and it was not straightforward. A new idea required a change of mindset. Water companies can deliver these types of solutions. And policy and legislation was changed at the time to allow for this as well. A number of hurdles were crossed. For example, Welsh Water worked with the local authority to come up with innovative and new approaches to maintaining and adopting these types of features. Whilst lessons have been learned, the approach has been a huge success, but it's still important that we continue to look back to aid future decisions. Given much of the strategy has been in place for 10 years now, we're able to take a detailed look back at performance. Now it's interesting, different approaches were taken across the catchment of Llanelli and a neighbouring catchment of Gowerton. At the time, these are all a blend of green, blue and grey, but to different extents. The chart shows medium-term performance of 3 assets within the catchments. Each had a different approach taken in the upstream catchment. Assets had different drivers and spill frequencies, hence there are slightly different levels on the graph. We're all aware of and advocates the benefits of SuDS and sustainable drainage, but we can now consider actual data to support this. The grey stripe bars represent performance of an asset where the catchment was predominantly solved with grey end-of-pipe solutions, storage tanks, and increased treatment. You can see the trend line here that means that approximately 1 extra spill on average is happening each year following the implementation of solution. The blue checkered bars represent a catchment where there was a mix of grey and green and blue. And the green bars, the solid bars along the bottom, show an approach where it was predominantly green infrastructure that was implemented. Now, what this means essentially is if you implement grey infrastructure, you need to go back into your catchment every 10 to 20 years to resolve the problem already solved in the past. You still need to do this with the green infrastructure approach, but you're talking every 50 to 100 years as opposed to every 10, 20 years. Now, storm overflows are only part of the puzzle, but I wanted to raise this considering the impacts of climate change in more strategic decisions that we make. The UK is about to invest unprecedented amounts in storm overflows, and it's important that we get it right, just like we did in Llanelli. But the way in which this is currently planned, are we asking too much too soon? Should we be taking more of a long-term view? I'd encourage everyone to continue to challenge their colleagues, clients, regulation, because it's important that we get this right. The challenge we face is vast, but this presents an incredible opportunity to work together to get more from the investment that's planned. Now, in recent years, we've seen more and more retrofit SuDS being delivered. Those of you in the room have seen some examples of that today. This is a picture of Green Grangetown, which we visited, a jointly funded scheme delivered by Cardiff Council, Natural Resources Wales and Welsh Water. This scheme has helped regenerate a city centre community. It's improved active travel, street safety, whilst it's also providing water management objectives. It's 6 years since the construction was completed, and overall, the scheme has been massively positive. But rather than telling you about the successes, I wanted to instead share some of my insights and lessons learned from this scheme and other retrofit schemes across South Wales. Some of this does focus on some of the detail. The first is maintenance. It's currently incredibly difficult for local authorities to retain funding for maintenance with significant other pressures on public spending. In Grangetown, maintenance has not been routine. In fact, to my knowledge, there's been just one maintenance activity in the past 6 years. I do see the positive on the one hand, as it's performing very well. And the community has stepped up as well, as I discussed with some of you today, and they're actually helping to maintain some of the green features, which is a massive positive. Perhaps going forward, we need to consider other options for maintenance. This might include things like private finance, private nature finance, and also getting the community involved as well. And the CIRIA tool might help in backing this approach up. The next lesson from me is know your location. Remember, with retrofit, you're entering an existing community. Street typology is incredibly important, and selecting the right SuDS features in the right place is also incredibly important. Rain gardens look and function great in most locations, but they're not for everywhere. And when selecting your locations for SuDS and considering street typology, it's important to engage thoroughly in the lead-up. Engagement forms a critical part of getting it right. And the final detail from me is around silt and silt management. This is something that I don't think is understood or covered necessarily well in guidance so far. Perhaps it's something that gets picked up in the upcoming update to the CIRIA manual. But managing silt is key to the success of the planting, but also the water quality outcomes of the SuDS projects that we deliver. And my final point on retrofit is PPP. Another acronym that I'm introducing into the drainage sector. Post-pilot plan. And given the number of schemes that we have in Wales and elsewhere that are pilots, it's important that we think about what next, what beyond that. Today, we are here to celebrate some great successes in the delivery of SuDS, and rightly so, but our job is not finished with any single scheme. We need more projects, more collaboration, and also secure long-term maintenance for them. We should judge things on the performance they have in the long term, and perhaps in the future, we'll be back here celebrating schemes 20, 30, 40 years on. And moving on from retrofit to new development. Sustainable drainage that follows mandatory national standards has now been in place for 5 years in Wales. The requirements in Wales align closely with other legislation, which already mentioned Wellbeing of Future Generations Act. As part of the implementation of Schedule 3, the Welsh Government committed to a review, as we've just heard. And as with a review such as this, we received a huge amount of feedback on the improvements that could be considered. And I'm going to discuss some of these in a moment. But it's important to say that the vast majority of those we spoke to across Wales are in agreement that mandating SuDS is the right thing to do. I was perhaps under the impression going into the review that it was one side or the other, but this definitely isn't the case from those I spoke to in Wales. Everyone is definitely supportive of seeing the types of features. And we're seeing some great green projects as a result, some of them on the screen there. But as with any new legislation, as I mentioned, there have been some challenges. I'm not going to talk through all the details. The report is published on the Welsh Government website, but I'm going to just touch on a few key themes. One of the themes now being considered and actioned is long-term maintenance, as mentioned for retrofit as well. This is really key to the success of SuDS. This includes a consistent commuter sums approach, which will provide transparency for developers and certainty on development, give them certainty on scheme viability. Now, some SABs have this in place, but I know there's an effort being led by the Welsh Government and the community of practice to help refine this into something that's consistent. Now, that's not going to be the same costs everywhere. It's all about the approach. Another important consideration around maintenance is consideration of ensuring the money is ring-fenced within local authorities. And this was raised by local authorities and developers as part of the review. Another theme is consistency. This was also raised. There is generally a need to make things clearer when a SAB application is required. Examples include things like temporary works. And also along the lines of consistency, from the review, we found some SABs were taking a slightly different approach in terms of what they wanted to see. For example, the ability of SuDS features to be implemented on single plots. Now you can see some examples of that on some of these slides. So within some local authority areas, they're huge advocates for that. Whereas in some local authority areas, the barrier being their access rights in order to go and view those SuDS features and ensure that they work in the long term. Something I think we're all aware of is the resource challenge as well. Here, there is potential for local authorities to perhaps join up into regional bodies and deliver things from a regional perspective. And this is already happening in some locations within Wales. And it's clearly increasingly important that we get into academia to help ensure that our future hydraulic expertise and water sustainable drainage engineers are prioritised and we invest in them into the future. So a final reflection from me is whether the quality of development has improved. And I think it's too early to consider quantifying this, but it's definitely improved on the face of it. We perhaps need 10 more years of data to properly quantify things in terms of numbers. But we're seeing far more interception at source rather than just end-of-pipe tanks. And this is benefiting the look and feel of development. And it's also contributing towards the local environment. Time will tell just how successful we have been, but this is a journey. If we continue to look back on the past and improve our future decisions, like we're doing in Llanelli, collaborate more and more, like we are with our retrofit schemes, and invest in the benefit of future generations in the environment, like Schedule 3 supports, we're heading in the right direction, and we can adjust and tweak things as we go. Well done and good luck for all those shortlisted today for the awards, and that's it from me. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you very much, Chris. And obviously with Wales being early adopters of Schedule 3, there is no doubt a whole host of lessons that have been captured that hopefully England can take on board going forwards. Okay, I am delighted to now welcome my colleague Adrian Baudremont, who is a Senior Research Manager at CIRIA and leads the Sustainable Water and Environment theme. And Adrian is going to give us a bit of an overview of susdrain. Adrian, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I was sitting in the back over there, and there is a little bit of a movement of air, and that was really good. Anyway. All right, so susdrain, the Committee for Sustainable Drainage, has been around for quite some time now. And most of you in the room are aware of it, of course, but also members, either supporter. Just wanted to give a little bit of an overview of what susdrain is for and what we've been doing these past couple of years. So this is a knowledge platform. If you go to susdrain.org, you will find a lot of resource for newcomers that want to learn about SuDS, but also that wants to be inspired by successful SuDS schemes. There's a lot of case studies over there throughout the UK, and they all showcase the what works or maybe what does not work. So it's really a good thing to start on your SuDS journey. It is also a network, so we are all here to share ideas and to try to collate the knowledge to make what successful SuDS look like more accessible for everybody. We organize events and webinars throughout the year. Obviously, today is the highlight. susdrain works on a 2-year cycle. Usually we have a SuDS Champion Awards on 1 year, and then SuDS Project Awards the next one. Being a member is a huge stamp for our members, of course, in terms of visibility. It shows that you are at the forefront of the thought leadership in terms of sustainable drainage. If you are interested in joining, please let me know. This year, we really want to recognize SuDS that are pushing boundaries of what can be done with sustainable drainage. We want to promote this change in paradigm in terms of what rainwater is and move away from rainwater as a nuisance to rainwater as a resource and try to leverage this resource where it falls as much as possible. Limiting the transportation of water, using it on site, and growing the benefits we can get out of it for our communities and for wildlife. It is not only about flooding. The 4 pillars of SuDS go beyond water quantity. It encompasses water quality, biodiversity, and amenity. It's really those 4 pillars that we want to showcase and promote. But there's even more than that. It goes beyond with all, air quality, with traffic calming, with all those benefits we can get out of implementing SuDS in our busy cities. The context is changing a lot. It's moving really fast. We've heard about, Wales being at the forefront with adopting and rolling out Schedule 3 back in 2019. 5 years ago. It's not that long ago. And, you know, hopefully England will follow in their footsteps in the next couple of years. What we want to create is a common language. We want to make sure that all practitioners are sharing their good practices and that they all speak the same language in order to really promote and sustain the development of SuDS. A couple recently released guidance documents that are SuDS related. The first one actually is not that recent. SuDS manual, its last iteration was published back in 2016. It is still the #1 publication for everything from what is SuDS? Should I even bother? To very engineering details of actually constructing, inspecting, and making sure that SuDS are working on site. The natural flood management manual is a little bit of the rule brother or sister of the SuDS manual, with all the NFN practices and processes that can be done in a more rural environment, still leveraging the benefits of rainwater. We produced last year 2 short documents on SuDS, on using SuDS to reduce nitrogen and phosphorus from runoff. So these are available on our website. I invite you to take a look at those. These are really about what are the best practices in terms of implementing SuDS trains and the positive outcomes that we can get out of those in terms of removing pollutants at the end of the line. Very recently, a couple of weeks ago, actually, we worked with Aima and Saim to produce a very short guide on mandatory biodiversity net gain in England. It's a short document, 12 pages, that highlights everything that needs to be done up to in the different stages of a project delivery to make sure that biodiversity net gain is actually a success. Mentioning it because there's definitely an overlap between the benefits of implementing SuDS and also designing for biodiversity net gain. The ongoing projects here that you can see at the bottom are the ones that we're working on and that we hope to release throughout the year. So on the top here, we have enabling community maintenance for local forest management. This one is in its final stages, and the results will be a series of guidance documents to enable a safe involvement of local communities in light gardening around green features. The second one, Blue Roof, has been around for a long time, but we are in the final stages. We have everything we need. We are doing the formatting now, and so we should be able to release it really soon. Getting SuDS right from the start, it's an ongoing project. We're, let's say, 1/3 into it, and it's looking at really early SuDS consideration, right from the land acquisition or the master planning phase, making sure that the benefits of SuDS are really built in at the really, really early stages of the projects. And lastly, SuDS for highways is a short document that is being commissioned by the GLA, Greater London Authority, about why should we consider SuDS in the highway realm, and also how to bring all those involved on board to make SuDS in highway a successful, cost-effective, and really, something that we do like business as usual. So this one will be published in around September. So look out for that. Lastly, this is just a call to join the conversation. If you're interested in joining us, please don't hesitate to contact me. The next cycle is about to start. It's going to be in September, October. CIRIA members get 10% discount, and you have a host of benefits of being part of susdrain. You can be part of these amazing SuDS Awards, helping to shape the themes and what is really at the forefront of the SuDS thought process. It's great for thought leadership. I mentioned it, visibility. We have a lot of web content, but also we push out a lot of newsletters and social media content on a regular basis. And lastly, yes, these are going to be a couple critical years for SuDS, not only as we continue to learn from Wales on everything that went well and what can be improved, but also when hopefully when we are rolling out Schedule 3 in England as well. So with that, that's the end of my speech. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. Yes, anybody who wishes to take a more active part in the susdrain network, please speak to us afterwards. It's a great and thriving community. Now, before we get into the awards, the main body of the awards, we have actually had a slight change to the running order in order to enable participation. And this is around an outstanding contribution award that we want to make. And I'm delighted to welcome Sue Illman from Illman Young, who is going to walk us through this particular award. Sue, to you. Sorry.
Oh, I don't have any slides, so I don't have to worry about anything with that. So you've got to listen to me. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sue Illman from Illman Young. And yeah, I've been involved in SuDS for a very long time indeed. First of all, I'd like to give apologies from my colleague Steve Wilson, as last year we jointly won the Lifetime Achievement Award for SuDS. And he obviously did his bit by chairing the judging panel, but couldn't be here today. I couldn't join in the judging, and therefore I'm absolutely delighted to be here today. But I would have been anyway. So, and it was funny because last year Steve and I, we sent in, we haven't got that, we got that joint honour, but we'd sent in our entry, and we were quite devastated when we didn't come anywhere as far as we were and what we'd done. What have we actually done that was so wrong? We thought we were quite good, really. All was revealed then when we were awarded the outstanding contribution to SuDS, which was an absolutely monumental surprise. We just had no idea that was coming, and it was absolutely delightful. It was just a shame we weren't there in person. But so what does that mean to both of us? I think really, I think the recognition of our peers is a huge accolade, and one which we are, still immensely proud. As many of you know, I call our relationship a civil partnership, as we both agree that it's absolutely critical to have that, and is an enjoyable way of working that is also professionally respectful. And it's a really good way of working together, architects, landscape architects and engineers together. And winning this award has also enhanced, personally, my own authority, I think, or at least dispelled doubts about what the landscape architect can deliver. So I hope that many of you also have similar relationships with your engineers or landscape architectural colleagues, as it is an immensely enjoyable and useful way of working. But my second and most important task today, and one which I'm very much looking forward to doing, is both an honour and pleasure to present this year's Outstanding Contribution to SuDS Award. Not only to someone who has dedicated her career to better water management, but to a friend. Many of us have enjoyed working with her, and particularly at susdrain. Her contribution shaped critical documents and tools, like the Natural Flood Management Manual, the Benefits Estimation Tool, or the recent SuDS for reducing nitrogen and phosphorus, to name just a few. So I'm delighted to announce that this year's Outstanding Contribution to SuDS Award goes to Louise Walker. Louise cannot be here with us today due to her health condition, but I know she would have loved to share this moment with you. 2 years ago, she led the SuDS Awards in Sheffield, but since then has been diagnosed with motor neurone disease. Here is a photo of Louise, and it was there anyway, accepting her award at her home. All right, no, great picture. And she has written an acceptance speech, which I would like to share with you. So this is her speech. I'm very proud to receive this award and very grateful to susdrain and its wonderful members for nominating me. I'm not sure about outstanding contribution, but I've been banging on about SuDS for a very long time. She has indeed. I first became involved in a SuDS group in the 1990s whilst doing my PhD at Bradford. It was there I met Professor Richard Ashley, who I went on to work for in Sheffield as part of the Pennine Water Group. Along with dear departed John Banksby, we took part in many great EU projects working towards more sustainable water management. I was part of the Water at Leeds for a number of years before joining CIRIA in 2018. I have loved my time at CIRIA. It felt really at the heart of the susdrain community. I've met some great people and learned about fantastic projects. So I hope that susdrain will continue to champion and support SuDS community for many years to come. And then I wanted to say a few words about motor neurone disease. I was diagnosed in June 2023. At the time, my speech was slightly slurred, but 1 year later, and I can't speak at all. I would have loved to have joined all my friends and colleagues at the awards, but I had been plotting for them to be held in Cardiff for a couple of years, as I know there's some great work to be seen there, particularly as I love South Wales and have some good friends there. My condition has made it hard for me to eat, and I get tired very easily, but I have learned to accept my limitations. I look pretty much the same at the first glance, but hidden disabilities are hard to recognise. I have much more sympathy for people with speech difficulties now. It is very easy to make assumptions, and I'm not surprised people thought I was hitting the bottle. I would ask that we all have a bit more patience and give people the benefit of the doubt. Someone might need help, even if they are drunk. You mentioned MND, and people expect a certain level of disability, having seen the amazing Kevin Sinfield and Rob Burrows. But do take a while to get there through. But we do take a while to get there, though, and the rate of progress is different for everyone. Currently, there is no known cause and no cure for this disease. It is relatively rare, but I now know 5 people who have had it. Things happen that we don't see coming. So it is really important to enjoy the moment, and I'm totally enjoying the moment of receiving this award. Thank you all. And if you would like to support Motor Neurone Disease Association, who are a great support to me and my fellow warriors, as we call ourselves, you can donate or join as a member. And I think the information is available, or certainly I'm happy to pass it to you, as indeed is CIRIA. So all thanks and congratulations to Louise.
Thank you, Sue. It's been a great pleasure to manage Louise over my time at CIRIA, and it's fair to say that she's faced up to what is a horrible disease with a combination of stoicism and gallows humour. Legend. Okay, something in my eye there. Right, we need to get into the awards, main body of the awards. So I'm just going to talk you through a little bit of the process. Okay, first of all, the SuDS Awards 2024 have been overseen by a independent judging panel. Steve Wilson, who Sue just cited there, was the chair of that particular panel. And there's just obviously some familiar names and faces, many of whom are in the room today. So first of all, let me extend my thanks to those of you that have given up your time freely to evaluate the submissions that we had and to distill those into today's winners and highly commended. So much appreciated. Okay, we're going to break up proceedings into essentially 3 different blocks. We've got videos that have been submitted from the shortlisted entries, and we're dividing it up into a block around new development, a block around small retrofit and community projects, and last but not least, large retrofit and catchment-based solutions. There's a bit of mechanics needed here in terms of how we're going to go about this. As I said, we've got the videos coming up, and then we're going to announce the winners and highly commended. If you can, if you're a winner, please come up and receive your award. Adrian's going to pass it off to you, and then we're taking some photos just around the corner. We are hoping to have a few words of thanks from the winners, but if you're highly commended, I'm afraid we've not got time for everybody to be standing up and saying a few words. But if you would like to stand up, wave your arms about, we'll get the award to you, and we'll make sure that we do capture your photos formally afterwards. So that's how it's going to work. The awards themselves are wooden trophies. They are from managed woodlands and made from fast-growing Douglas fir, and I think will be a welcome addition to many bookshelf or indeed mantelpiece as you see fit. Okay, hoping this will work. So the first section that we're going to look at is the videos from shortlisted entrants for new developments in the 3 categories there. And I'm hoping that this should segue neatly into some videos.
Our vision for Chelsea Creek was to connect the site to water by expanding the dock and providing canals to create a vibrant new waterside destination. Looking to Amsterdam and Copenhagen, we have brought a characteristically European feel of waterside living to London. Historically, the northern corner of the site used to include a small pond. This has been extended into a larger basin and marina with 2 canals running from it. The construction of the canals and marina within the new development was split into 3 distinct phases. These new features were constructed as a continuous concrete structure. In order to not place pressure on the local network, the canal has also been designed and constructed to act as an actuation tank with holding stormwater. In addition to this, the feature also serves as a place for nature and community to thrive.
Plastor's Gateway Linear Park is an active travel, landscaping and sustainable drainage focused highway link into Wales's largest residential development. The wider Plastor site will provide 7,000 homes, 5 schools, amenities and 400 acres of green spaces over the next few decades. The Gateway Linear Park is a landmark entrance into that development, designed to capture the ethos and design principles of this 21st century garden city. Working collaboratively from the outset, the project aimed to combine safe active travel with the desire to create a destination and the need to sustainably manage surface water runoff. These principles were at the forefront of the design, a stark contrast to the traditional car-centric, narrow footpath, hard-engineered highways of the past. The design was also carefully coordinated with existing strategic utilities, including high-voltage cabling, a trunk potable water main, and a high-pressure gas main. Surface water runoff is collected in swales with check dams to slow the water down, allowing sediment to settle, and carefully selected planting to strip hydrocarbons and metals from the polluted runoff. Runoff is then attenuated in landscape ponds, reducing flood risk within the development and in the downstream drainage network. The SuDS components are closely integrated with footpaths, cycle routes and play equipment, as well as providing a natural separation from car traffic, improving safety and experience. The project introduced 140 trees, 2,400 metres squared of permanent water, varied aquatic and non-aquatic planting, and large amounts of wildflower meadow planting. Biodiversity benefits can be seen firsthand with the new species already present on site, including nesting birds and invertebrates. 70% of Gateway Linear Park is blue and green landscaping, a completely different approach to traditional highway design. The project aimed to provide a legacy for future generations, providing a more sustainable, healthier and community-focused place to live. Ongoing inspections, maintenance and design input ensure that the project will continue to provide the benefits to the local community as intended.
My name is Christina Refalo and I'm a Landscape Architect Director of Refalo Landscape Architects. The Stag Little Easton is a residential scheme in Essex by developer Monterre, consisting of 42 homes and 3 commercial units over 3.7 hectares of land. Right from the start, the client engaged a multidisciplinary team including Turner Architects, Magenta Planning, Stantec as drainage engineers, Hybrid Ecology, Waterman as highway engineers, Sharon Hosegood Associates as arboriculturalists, and ourselves as landscape architects. Utilising a multidisciplinary approach guarantees that the design harmoniously blends in with its surroundings. By applying that wider landscape approach, the initial assessment of the scheme consists of a desktop GIS analysis where key aspects of the site within and beyond the red boundary were captured and overlaid. This provided the initial design input for the scheme. Wider land contours assessment and long site sections provided key information in relation to the surrounding hydrology and the River Chelmer and other relevant water features. The design within the site boundary then evolved, taking into consideration the land aspects as well as the complex architectural requirements for the homes. Through various interdisciplinary design iterations, the green and blue infrastructure was seamlessly integrated with the social infrastructure and architectural ethos for the scheme, creating a place for people and wildlife to call home. The design was nature-based SuDS-led from the early conceptual stage, allowing for the creation of various SuDS components arranged in a conveyancing management train. By considering the broader context beyond the red line, including hydrological factors, human and wildlife movements, as well as nearby townscape architectural styles, the design approach successfully reconnected the site with its surrounding landscape. This addressed the 4 pillars of SuDS by reducing runoff rates, improving water quality, creating amenity and biodiversity.
Wellbank Park is a vibrant new community on the edge of the Lake District, planned with people, landscape and the environment at its heart. Initially, the drainage was conventional, with surface water dispatched into deep drains under the roads. These were linked to buried cellular attenuation tanks, and these would result in equally deep ponds at the bottom of the site. But the client, David Nuttall, had a vision for a more sustainable approach and brought 2B Landscape Consultancy and consulting engineers PSA Design onto the team. The basic master plan layout had already been conceived by the architect. The strong emphasis on landscape corridors and spaces designed to provide walking routes around the site gave us a framework into which we could overlay a more sustainable approach to surface water management. The swales add interest and purpose to the landscape routes through the site and use the natural terrain to deliver the water at a controlled rate into 2 large ponds. The house plots are drained to permeable sub-base drives to detain the roof water. The access roads are a conventional non-permeable design, but surface water is kept as high as possible and crosses the roads using shallow drainage units which feed into the downstream swales. The swales also take the crossfall from the access roads. The ponds provide a fabulous setting for the community hub. They're designed with a wet bench for normal levels and a dry bench for the peak water level, which is 300 mil higher. These benches provide flat areas which enhance both safety and biodiversity. The project is under construction now, with the layout of the ponds and landscape corridor visible and the first of the swales being formed. We look forward to seeing the site develop and to its vision being achieved.
Hi, I'm Helen Smith and I'm a Technical Director in Landscape Architecture at JBA, and I was lucky enough to be the lead on the design for the Gateshead Baltic Quarter blue-green corridor, which you can see standing within now. JBA worked in partnership with Gateshead Council to design a climate resilient blue-green corridor to take surface water and provide future surface water attenuation.
The project was about creating a multifunctional green corridor of soft drainage features with sustainable urban drainage capacity that also provided pedestrian and cyclist links through the site, recreational space within a linear park area, and biodiversity net gains. Gateshead's aim was to have an exemplar SuDS scheme within the borough that could be used as an example for future SuDS elsewhere.
Where we're standing now is a former industrial area. There was a road here, but the rest of this area was quite heavily contaminated and the land has been reclaimed for development.
A fundamental objective was to transport surface water to the River Tyne. Our engineers used 3D surveys to navigate to the river, repurposing an existing outfall, providing time and cost efficiencies. We worked with Gateshead Council to maximise the sustainable drainage potential, creating attenuation areas, rain gardens, swales and check weirs to reduce flow rates during peak events. By modelling the green-blue network, we could predict and design for future capacity needs. The planting design includes street trees, shrub and herbaceous planting, and provides benefits in terms of air quality, reduction of the urban heat island effect, and provision of wildlife habitat. The site is both a gathering space and a transport link, and the intersecting landscape elements reflect the cultural and industrial heritage of the site, including historic rope making that is part of its history.
Lisvein and Llanishin Reservoirs is a new water sports and visitor centre owned and operated by Welsh Water. It serves as a hub for health and well-being in North Cardiff for both visitors and the local community. The centre includes a cafe, water sports facilities and meeting rooms, while the external landscape provides amenity spaces, educational areas and parking. The project restored a previously brownfield area of operational land associated with the historic use of the reservoirs. It forms part of the wider restoration project undertaken by Welsh Water since they acquired the reservoirs in 2016. The SuDS scheme had to be carefully integrated around extensive infrastructure, including the reservoir dams, various listed structures and live operational elements. The site also encompasses 2 SSSI designations and various SINC designations. The design team included Momentum Civil and Structural Engineers, Landscape Architects LT Studio, Architects Field and Clegg Bradley Studios, and Services Consultants E3, working closely with the client Welsh Water. We aimed to develop a SuDS scheme that was highly expressive, educational and carefully embedded into the wider landscape. The scheme also helps to reconnect the richly biodiverse reservoirs with the adjacent watercourse and surrounding woodlands. Rainwater from the roofs discharges to expressed gargoyles at various points around the building. These in turn discharge to rain chains which connect rain gardens, swales and rills around the perimeter, with bioretention prior to discharge to the wider site network. The site is within a flood risk area, and so the car park required careful detailing to provide suitable treatment and storage. There are various surface treatments within the car park, which drains to tree pits and rain gardens. Infiltration was not possible, and the final discharge is therefore at a controlled rate to the watercourse which runs through the site. The project is extremely popular and has become a blueprint for how Welsh Water can educate and engage with both visitors and the local community, and enhance biodiversity on their site.
Okay, so 6 fantastic videos there representing the shortlisted projects within 3 different categories. And I'm sure you'll agree, some fantastic examples. I'm now paranoid about the number of clicks having given the game away with Louise. But in terms of the new housing development, brackets large, I'm delighted to announce that the winner is Chelsea Creek. They are online, which is the first award and the first technical challenge. I'm hoping that we can get them on the webinar. They should be getting a prompt to become a, what was it? I can't remember the description now. A panelist. But in the meantime, whilst we're trying to sort that out in the background, this award was by St George, Berkeley Group, and Stuart and Jessica, I believe, Stuart Sweeney and Jessica Lewis are online. And the judge's comment was that this is a redevelopment that has a clear intention to retain, enhance, and embed the existing site's heritage features into the overall design. Rather than removing an old dock wall, it was extended to create a new canal network, creating new leisure and amenity features, whilst also providing above ground attenuation we expect from SuDS, all whilst retaining a piece of the area's cultural heritage. Are we winning the technological battle in the background? Are they online?
Jennifer Lewis could please accept permission to be a panelist. We'll be able to see you and hear you through the screen.
Jessica, I don't know if you caught that, but if you're able to accept the invitation to be a panelist, we can hopefully have a word. Oh, I think maybe we should perhaps loop back around and see if we can get Jessica on at a later juncture. I'm not sure whether that's fault with. She's declined. Oh, okay. All right, she's shy, but very well done, Stuart and Jessica. Very well done. Obviously, genuinely wasn't anticipating that. Okay, moving swiftly on. There is also a highly commended in this particular category. I'm delighted to announce, that is Place d'Or Gateway Linear Park here in the sunny city of Cardiff. David, are you in the room? Please stand up so we can capture your. Yeah, we're just going to quickly grab a photo. There's no time for highly commended to give a speech, but if you want to go over there, that'd be great. Apologies, I'm getting all Ricky Gervais with this, aren't I, in terms of asking carefully. But the judge's comments included an excellent example of how a large-scale new development should create space for water and integrate it into the landscape amenity. The project has pioneered the use of SuDS across Wales, has been an early adopter of SAB principles, and is a key contributor to the successful implementation of Schedule 3 in Wales. So, David, very, very well done. Okay, moving swiftly on to the next category, which is early housing schemes not yet completed. Should be a holding slide. Paranoid about this in terms of clicking too fast. And I'm delighted to announce that the winner in this category is Wellbank Park Self-Build in Cumbria. This was entered by Bill and Elizabeth Blackledge, who will say a few words, but the judge's comments included this project strives to keep water features at the surface and minimise the use of pipes to bury or hide water features. The design has cleverly integrated the drainage of water so it's visible and accessible by all. Can it be re-entered for an award once finished? Judges comment. So, Bill, Elizabeth, if you want to say a brief few words, very welcome. Hopefully you should get picked up by the room mics.
Okay, thank you very much. Didn't really expect to win anything because the competition is so stiff, so good, amazing. So slightly surprised by that, but thank you very much. Thank you to CIRIA for just doing what they've done for 2 decades now or more, but really being at the forefront of promoting SuDS. And thank you to the Welsh Government for leading the way. Diolch. Thank you so much. That's it.
Great, thank you. We can reiterate on them if the stamps don't work at the end, but it means that it takes a little bit longer to get to the drinks, that's all. Okay. There was also a highly commended in this particular category on early housing schemes not yet completed. Holding slide. And I'm delighted to say that the Stag Little Eastern residential development was one of highly commended. If you're in the room, if you could just yes, stand up and want to collect your award and get a photo, that would be great. But the judges' comments included for this particular project: a well thought out SuDS design, successfully incorporating many different types of SuDS features into a relatively small development. The project team looked beyond the site boundaries to maximise the benefits of the sustainable drainage scheme. So very well done, and thank you. Okay, reams of paper here. Okay, and last but by no means least, final category in this particular block is on new commercial development, and I am delighted to announce the winner is Lisvein and Llanishen, and apologies to the Welsh people in the audience for my Yorkshire pronunciation of Welsh, visitor centre in Cardiff, and this was submitted by Momentum Consulting Engineers, and I believe Joe and Jack are in the audience. Very well done. Please come up. The judges' comments: a fascinating project, bringing to life an old reservoir, creating a vibrant space for local communities, all encompassing SuDS features. So very well done. If you want to say a few words, be my guest.
Just to say thanks. Obviously, it was a large collaborative effort and took a lot of work between the engineers, landscape architects, and a great client, Welsh Water, who were really keen to develop the reservoirs and have created a truly impressive space. Also, one of the first or an early project to go through SAB, so thank you to SAB as well. It was a sort of learning experience for everyone, I think, to sort of get the projects through that process.
I think to reiterate that, SAB hopefully will come on soon, but we've learned from it, and I'd eagerly entice you to go and have a look at this vein. It's really a special place to spend some time. So go and have a look if you can.
Great, thank you. Apologies to Marcus. I didn't cite him specifically there. I've got reams of paper here, as you can imagine. But Marcus Dix from LT Studio as well, one of the collaborating winners. So very well done to Lisvein and Llanishen Reservoirs Visitor Centre. There was also a highly commended in this particular category, and I'm delighted to say that the Baltic Quarter, the Blue-Green Corridor Gateshead, is highly commended. I believe we have Helen, Smith, Renee, Jessie and Jenny all here. Yeah, very well done, guys. The judges' comments, if you could just go and collect your award. The judges' comments included really good to see the use of green SuDS rather than traditional hard engineered solutions on this new industrial development. And the project has provided biodiversity net gain opportunities and dealt with existing contamination site. So very well done. There are also a couple of online attendees that I just need to cite. That's Rosa Marsh and Steve Thompson. So really, really well done to the whole team there from JBA. Excellent. Okay, I am starting to melt. We are now, I think, into our second block, again with 3 categories of awards. And this includes the Community SuDS Awards, regeneration and retrofit on private properties, and also regeneration and retrofit on a small scale. So we have 8 videos for this particular category. By the power.
benefits, and obviously the sort of biodiversity and flood risk benefits are a given, but I think it's really crucial to understand the wider societal benefits, like how community projects can really help improve cohesion, create safer and better neighbourhoods. And I think that's the brilliant thing that sort of investment into SuDS and green infrastructure can bring. And
so back in 1997, the St John Society was formed by saving the local duck pond. Really from there we've been focused on understanding how we can improve the greening areas within St John's, but also the lake.
It's been brilliant supporting the St John Society delivering this project. As soon as they came to us with the idea of trying to convert an underutilised bit of footway road surface on an underused road, we were really, Lewisham Council were really supportive of the project and wanted to do all we could to try and facilitate the St John's community to delivering it.
The next stage for us will be to, we're working with Network Rail, that will be in terms of the mural on this wall here.
The Lower Floods project in Waltham Forest started last year in response to increases in surface water flooding in the borough, which is one of the impacts of climate change that we're already seeing locally. The project involved installing free, self-emptying water butts and water-saving devices in residents' homes and other community buildings. We targeted the first phase of the project in the Philibrook catchment area, which previously flooded quite badly, and we delivered a second phase of the project in the southwest of the borough, another flood risk area. One of the things that helped us to successfully deliver over 1,000 installations in those areas was the collaborative and community-led approach. We had a local resident flood action group help with the design of the project and to communicate the project via WhatsApp chats and word of mouth. We also worked with our in-store service store team, who did the installations and also designed the self-emptying component of the water butts. As well as that word of mouth, we also delivered an informative postcard so that people could understand what the project was aiming to do, and also that individual water butt was really part of a bigger overall project that was going to have a real difference in the flood risk of the area. We received some really positive feedback, and I think it really showed that collective action approach could build trust and momentum and really helped to deliver the success of the project across those areas, and also help create a more resilient and flood a flood-aware community. We're hoping to take the learnings and success of this project and expand it to other parts of the borough, and perhaps work with other boroughs to expand across London. We'd really also like to thank our external partners, including the National Flood Forum and Thames Water, who also helped to deliver this project successfully.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Bill.
And we're the directors of
2B Landscape Consultancy.
This is our home.
And this is our office. As we've developed, repaired and replaced various parts of our house, office and garden, we've taken every opportunity to incorporate water collection and attenuation features. We've done this by fitting
4 water butts,
4 green roofs,
a hydration channel,
a rill, pond and rain garden,
a permeable drive and deck.
And we've shared this with our neighbours during open gardens.
To keep the water clean, all of our water butts feature these ingenious water diverters and filters. It's amazing how much stuff comes off the roof.
Our first green roof was in 2010 when our garage flat roof had to be replaced. We produced a time-lapse video of its creation.
We then fitted a green roof to our outside office and also to a shed and a wood store. It's fascinating to see how these change through the years and how they always come back after summer droughts.
The hydration channel was fitted by our house insurers when we put our foot down and said we didn't want the large ash tree in our front garden removing. The channel provides all the moisture that the tree needs without it sending its roots under our house.
When we fitted an extension, we had the chance to redirect the water from the entire back of the house, which runs through a rill, a pond and into a rain garden.
The exceedance route is via the overflow and dry stream bed, which outfalls to a local ditch.
We laid flexi-stone permeable bound gravel on top of Type 3 stone.
We've done as much as we can to collect and detain the water that falls on our property.
Ironically, that didn't help us much when we were flooded by surface water from adjacent fields in 2019.
But it did make us move on to our next SuDS NFM adventure, the West Wales Slow the Flow Catchment Partnership. When it comes to SuDS, all scales matter.
In July 2022, we embarked on an ambitious project aiming to complete a community rollout of passive draining water butt planters on residential properties across 3 communities in an urban and rural setting. The project explored ways of encouraging residential communities to adopt rainwater capture to help slow the flow of rainwater entering sewers, engaging residents to be part of the solution to help reduce CSOs and surface water flooding. The project was part funded by Thames Water and Ofwat's Water Breakthrough Challenge.
The project deployed Thames Water's own specially designed water butt, which has a unique 2-tank design. A small internal tank which retains some water for reuse, and a larger 235-litre tank with a low-maintenance flow restrictor that provides the passive stormwater storage without the risk of blocking, and ensures storage is available the next time it rains. The water butts have planting trays on top, which residents use to plant flowers, fruit or vegetables, increasing the biodiversity and enhancing the amenity of their neighbourhoods.
The scheme leveraged digital innovation by using an online platform to facilitate the free uptake of water butts. Householders were encouraged to register their interest on the platform and then schedule an installation at a time that suited them. A combination of digital-only and in-person community engagement approaches were used to raise awareness of the water butt scheme, and these were tailored to the specific communities and their needs. The use of a digital platform provided a streamlined onboarding experience for householders by leveraging technology to simplify and enhance the process.
Runoff from 1,800 square metres is now passively attenuated, or the flow of approximately 17,000 litres of rainwater is now slowed, reducing peak flows by up to 70%. A further 2,000 litres of rainwater is also now available for reuse instead of being lost down the drain.
It has empowered householders and communities to take action and to feel part of the solution to their local issues.
The output of the project is a blueprint that is available to any organisation, big or small, wishing to roll out a similar initiative, helping to establish good practices when it comes to effective community engagement to achieve rainwater management at scale.
A huge thank you to all who have been involved in this project, particularly our Rainwater, Groundworks, Waltham Forest Council, Lambeth Council and the Farming and Wildlife Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Sally Bower, a landscape architect based in Liverpool. This is a private garden I designed a few years ago. Before, it was mainly lawn backing onto a wood. The client's brief was for a wildlife garden with a new patio, a place to grow vegetables and potter. Also, excitingly, they wanted a large pond, a smaller lawn and wilder planting. In my design, I placed the pond at the heart of the garden. One thing I noticed during my site analysis was the roof drained directly onto the ground, and the soil was sandy, loam and free draining. To me, this was a brilliant opportunity to create biodiverse suds as an integral part of the garden and to feed the pond. Briefly, the rainwater fills either a rain planter or water butts. These overflow into rills, which feeds the pond. When there's heavy rain and the pond is full, it overflows into the rain garden. The next few slides show these elements. Starting with the rain planter, which is a galvanized trough, this overflows into a dry stream bed which snakes through the planting. That leads to a brick channel rill. The brick channel also takes overflow from the water butts on the other side of the roof. The channel flows into the pond. The pond has lots of variation in depth and varied edges for wildlife, including dead wood in log piles and perch points. The overflow is at the other end of the pond, going into a rain garden. There are even resident toads under the logs. The clients love their garden, particularly the pond with lots of wildlife. Thank you very much for listening.
I'm Alessandro Ficara. I work as a senior engineer in the TfL pumps and drainage team. On this scheme I was the main designer. My first instinct was to try to find locations where SuDS would work and we could intercept some of the impermeable catchment. We identified 6 locations for rain gardens and another 5 locations for permeable paving. And we proposed some tree pits, some swale, some dry ditch.
Yeah, so this scheme really showcases innovative way in which TfL has been able to deliver SuDS. It's quite a challenging and urban, complex highway location. So we had to really make the use of the space. So we had to reuse some outdated subway, for example. And you can see here at the roundabout, we really had to transform this roundabout into a biodiverse water management landscape.
SuDS on the highway locations are very challenging. The constraints are considerable. But they're also, as we try to look at things, constraints are opportunities. It was particularly exciting from my point of view because I thought we could get a really interesting range of planting in. One of our aims at TfL is to get people to walk and cycle more. And of course, if your routes are interesting, green, things in flower, lots to look at, then they're more likely to do that.
This is one of our first big SuDS scheme in London. So we are learning and forming long-term relationships with our partners so we can start delivering more of those type of SuDS scheme in London in the years to come.
This project definitely formed the basis for developing new TfL SuDS standards. We are really proud of this scheme and we really learned a lot from it.
The Green Lanes Rain Garden project was delivered by engineers and landscape architects from Enfield Council in collaboration with Thames Water and the Environment Agency. The rain garden SuDS features were constructed by excavating the footway, backfilling with granular subbase, topsoil and then planting. This area of green lanes in the southwest of the borough is at significant surface water flood risk as it's a topographical low point and surface water frequently overwhelms the local drainage system. The rain gardens help to alleviate flood risk by attenuating road runoff and storing it in the subbase before discharging back to the sewer network at a reduced rate. Also, losses occur through infiltration to the surrounding ground. The rain gardens also help to improve local water quality by filtering out pollutants through the subbase, ensuring that water entering the local river system is much cleaner than what enters the rain garden. Finally, the rain gardens help to improve the street scene by providing much needed green features to a predominantly grey space. To summarise, this scheme has helped improve the local area by reducing flood risk, improving water quality, and importantly providing exciting green infrastructure to a grey landscape and encouraging more people to visit the area and enjoy the local offerings.
My name is Jem. I'm a local business owner in August Green, like 30 years now. Last year the council decided to make different things in the area. It makes it now the area looks beautiful, more smart, we get more customer and we are more relaxed.
Okay, brilliant. So 8 more fantastic examples spread across 3 further categories of awards. And so we move on to the awards for the first category amongst them, which is, excuse me, community SuDS. And I am delighted to announce, says, the winner is Thornbill Street Rain Garden in London. To Paul Middleton and Nick Bomstrand, who I believe are online, but Marcus, I believe you're here to collect the award on their behalf, so very well done. Marcus is from Lewisham Council. Marcus, very well done. Few words, if I can find the notes, just bear with me, I'll just read out the judges' comments. It's good to see Green SuDS initiatives at a community-based level. The continued involvement in the community, which is very self-evident from the video, will hopefully see the project expand across the wider area and the private sector leading in great learning opportunities for the community. Marcus, over to you.
I guess I'd say thank you to the St. John Society for having the initiative to try and change their neighbourhood. It's such a brilliant way for communities to be involved and to be engaged in what happens in their neighbourhood. So thanks to them and to Thames Water for funding it and to Lewisham for funding it. Yes.
Very well done. We do have a highly commended in this category, and I'm delighted to say that Lower floods in Walton Forest is our highly commended category. So I believe that Ciria Hansen is in the room. Ciria, very well done. And Emily Perks, please come and collect your award. The judges' comments included, they were very impressed by the 900 water butts deployed over a large catchment area and a great example of local engagement and communication using low-cost solutions. So very, very well done. Okay, it's the photographing in the background. I shall move swiftly on. The next category is regeneration and retrofit for private properties. And I am delighted to announce the winner is community-centric rainwater management from Thames Water. Craig, spoke to you earlier. Craig, come up and collect your award. And colleague Stephen Potter, so very well done to you as well, Stephen. The judges' comment on this, an outstanding project which combines innovation, engagement and shared learning. The digital platform is a great idea and initiative, driving a paradigm shift. That's the second time we've used paradigm today, as we need to take responsibility for the water landing on our own properties. Okay.
Well, yeah, I was surprised. Thank you for the award. I would just say that, as you can see, it took a lot of partners to deliver the projects, and it wasn't really about scale. We really wanted to focus on cracking the nut of getting people engaged in having water butts and why they might have them, not necessarily the technology, although that is one thing. The water butt is something that we've designed at Thames Water over a few years. Our innovation team, I think they might be online. So all credit to them because they designed it, and it's truly multi-beneficial in my eyes. It has benefit of water reuse, stormwater attenuation and biodiversity. So it's there for any customer to have.
Just want to say thank you very much to all of our project partners because it was a great project to work on, wasn't it? And thank you to the communities that were involved as well, because they certainly made the project special.
Okay, very well done. There are two highly commended projects in this, and they are the Wildlife Rain Garden in Liverpool, submitted by Sally Bauer, who I believe is online, and 2B, who we've already heard from, Bill and Elizabeth Blackledge. Second award. No, you've had your opportunity to speak on this one, I'm afraid, but just let me read the judges' comments. First of all, for the Wildlife Rain Garden in Liverpool, the judges' comments were a laudable SuD scheme which showcases what can be achieved in a domestic garden. Very attractive, creatively master planned and delivered in one go. So very well done. Sally, online, big thumbs up. The judges' comments for the 2B office and house SuDS retrofit included a great example of retrofit SuDS at an individual plot level, a small landscape practice with big ideas, and obviously they've already won an award today, and lots of interesting SuDS features grown organically through 10 years on a single dwelling, just showing what the art of the possible really is. So very well done to the pair of you. Thank you. Okay, moving swiftly on. The next category is regeneration and retrofit at small scale. And I am delighted to announce the winner is Wood Street in Cardiff. Many of you. A few words from you in a second. The judges' comments here were a high quality scheme where SuDS have been a key element in transforming a previously heavily trafficked city centre street into an attractive public realm. And I mean, that's evident from the photos, and obviously people in the room have seen some of that today in person. It's great to see this example being widely shared through webinars. Top marks for sharing the lessons learned and to the wider and sharing the lessons learned from the scheme for the wider community. Dan, over to you. Say a few words.
Appreciate it. Hopefully it's come across for those who have the tool, but I love talking about this project. It's a city that I was born in, grown up in all my life. And for those who've heard me talk about this project, my family used to have a cafe on Wood Street before the building got knocked down. So when the road would shut for match days, I'd see thousands of fans walk across and back when it was Welsh rugby games. And so it was amazing to have an influence on a street that myself and my family know so well. And I think maybe a blessing in disguise, Knights Brown, the contractor, they did an awesome job at building it, but it coincided with COVID. And it meant that roads are quieter, but it introduced other challenges too. But they did a really great job, and so it was definitely a collaborative effort from everyone involved. So, thank you.
We also have two highly commended awards here, and this is Green Lanes Rain Gardens, Enfield Council, who did, I think, clean up at the last awards that we had in Sheffield, and also the Tolworth Roundabout, which is a TfL project. So congratulations online, I believe, Freddie Hambley Barton and from Enfield Council, and I think Michael Shorey is here. Well done, Michael. Stand up and come and get your award and get a photo. And there's also Charles Sneed, Nicholas Grisel and Alessandro Ficara from TfL. The judges' comments for Green Lanes Gardens, a good example of overcoming challenges of retrofitting SuDS on a busy London road. And comments for the Tolworth Roundabout scheme, an excellent example showing how SuDS in highways can contribute to major improvement of the public realm. Not only did the project deliver some terrific SuDS features, it has delivered a change in design guidance to ensure that SuDS are considered in future projects. And that's perhaps the real key here, that TfL are taking that learning and reapplying it elsewhere. So very well done to all of those winners and highly commended that's in that category. Okay, is there a backlog in queuing? Very well done. Okay, we are moving on again to the final block of categories. This is the third block we've got. The following categories: regeneration and retrofit in public buildings, regeneration and retrofit large scale, and also catchment-based SuDS solutions. So we've got another 5 videos in this block of categories, which again, all being well, should play now. And try to sort the volume.
London Borough of Lewisham and its schools, in partnership with Trees for Cities, have embarked on an exciting new programme to adapt vulnerable urban school playgrounds to the changing climate through the installation of SuDS and nature-based solutions to help manage climatic risk at these schools. This phase of the programme was at Rathfern Primary School, Deptford Park Primary School and John Stainer. The project has really helped to transform the playgrounds, reducing surface water flood risk, increasing their adaptation to the changing climate, but also creating biodiversity in environments void of it, and improving the awareness and knowledge of climate change within the school community, and creating deeper connections to nature, and instilling a motivation to help protect and promote nature and the environment within the school pupils.
So in this particular school, the playground flooded quite a bit. Every time there was a heavy rainfall, there were certain areas of the playground that were just inaccessible to the children. They couldn't make any use of it. So the idea was to make sure that we could mitigate that. We could put in rain gardens, like the one I'm sitting beside, put in dam pipe planters, and also tree pits. In a lot of the schools we work with, they don't have any trees, it's just a sea of tarmac. So here the concrete was cut out so that trees could be planted. We really do believe quite strongly that, you know, children appreciate nature if they can get a bit closer to it. And if all they ever see in their playground is tarmac, then, you know, they're not going to appreciate those little creatures that are crawling around.
The SuDS project has opened the doors to new learning and new opportunities for the children. Our school is based in a flood-prone area. With that, they've seen how members of the SuDS team has come in and they've helped to Get them to understand that this water, instead of creating a flooded area, can be used, can be drained in a more sustainable way. So we're quite pleased to have that in our playground and to be a part of the project.
The William Austin Junior SuDS in Schools project was a partnership project delivered in conjunction with Thames Water and the Department of Education that jointly paid for the project, Luton Borough Council, the Environment Agency and William Austin School itself. The school had flooded several times over, mainly due to overwhelmed drainage and an entrance at the bottom of a slope. The largest intervention on this site was the rainwater harvesting tank that drains an area of 500 metres squared of roof. It can hold 12,000 litres of water and is used to flush a toilet block at one end of the school with 14 toilets. A kiosk was installed to allow for data collection and monitoring. This is the school playground after the construction was completed. You can see 3 tree pits, inspection chamber, and underneath this astroturf is the rainwater harvesting tank. As well as the tree pits, there is a series of crates. They can hold 53,000 litres of water. The water flows off of the playground into the tree pits and aqua drain and is stored in the crates before being released slowly back into the soil. This allows for less water getting into the surface water drainage network. In addition, there were 6 planters installed on 3 outbuildings at the school. The roofs drain through the downpipes into the planters that can hold 2,000 litres of water each. They're planted up with a range of herbs which were chosen by the school to be non-toxic to the students. Beyond the construction, an assembly was held to educate the children about the SuDS on their school campus, and additional information was left with the school for them to use in the future. Thank you.
Enfield Council have transformed a historically underutilised park in the southern part of the borough into a stunning wetland with access to a rare natural section of the Pims Brook. Previously, the park was mainly used as a shortcut for crossing the A406 rather than as a recreational space. The landscape was preliminary grassland with a small hill to the east and some natural play features. The Pims Brook, which flows through the northern section of the park, was obscured by a palisade fence and situated 3 metres lower than the surrounding land, making it completely inaccessible. The park was particularly unusable during the winter months due to waterlogging. The site is also of archaeological significance, likely being part of the historic Weir Hall estate. During the works, we found evidence of an old pig farm and some Ice Age tundra and petrified wood. Wilby Way was identified as a pivotal site for mitigating flood risk within the Pims Brook catchment. The wetlands are fed by diverting a surface water sewer and newly installed land drains into a series of wetland cells. These cells rely on infiltration but also have an overflow back into the Pims Brook. A bunded footpath also provides additional flood storage during large rainfall events. The wetlands have been planted up with various wetland plants which will help slow the flow and reduce pollutants in the water before it flows back into the brook. A 40-metre section of the Pims Brook has now been opened up. It's now accessible from the park and helps people see a rare natural section of the brook. Many residents have commented on how they wasn't even aware a river was there before. We formalised informal footpaths to give residents better access around the park, created a large high binoculum buried on the hillside next to the wetlands and used reclaimed stones found during the works for seating. A well-attended community planting event saw the wetland ponds filled with native wetland and marginal plants. A wildflower meadow was sown along with shrub and tree planting which will help blend the space into the rest of the park. Future plans for the park include installing PIR solar lighting along the main footpath, natural play equipment, and to improve access links by creating a woodland walk north of the river linking back into the park.
The Flood Mitigation and Community Flood Resilience in Waltham Forest project has been a collaboration between several different council teams, including the Climate Emergency Team, the Lead Local Flood Authority, Highways and Parks, as well as external partners, including National Flood Forum, Thames Water and local flood action groups, which are made up of local residents. This joint working has been key to the success of the project by integrating flood mitigation schemes with climate change benefits and also combining resources. We've been able to deliver shared goals to maximise outputs. The flood mitigation strategy covers the whole borough with various sites across 7 critical drainage areas. And the combined approach of different schemes has included constructed wetlands, swales, basins, transforming local roads with SuDS, and also household direct action. Here you can see a photo of one of the flood mitigation projects, the South Chingford project, which will completely remove 64 properties from flood risk, and a further 893 properties will have a reduction in flood risk. 2 other sites include Chestnut Fields Flood Mitigation Project, which will create a vibrant wetland ecosystem, and also the Philibrook Flood Alleviation Scheme, which covers Sixth College and Whipps Cross Hospital. In the Philibrook catchment area, we've delivered several street improvements, including permeable paving and rain gardens. You can see there some residents helping out with the planting. And we've also offered residents in that area, in some high flood risk areas, water saving devices and self-emptying water butts. Having this range of different schemes in the highest flood risk areas is already positively impacting residents living there. And the projects are also empowering residents with the tools to build their own flood resilience.
The Central Park Sustainable Drainage System scheme in Plymouth incorporated a variety of drainage improvement works in order to capture rainwater and contain it. This maintains a natural environment for wildlife and simultaneously encourages biodiversity. The objective was to transform water from a problem into a resource for the local community and for wildlife existing in the area. Flooding issues were intensified in times of heavy rain, and with the impending threat of climate change, this is only forecast to increase in the coming years. One of the integral constraints faced during this scheme has been management of existing trees and plants, some of which were protected. Considerations into the geographical layout was of primary importance. Pond installation is an effective and efficient method of combating flooding. The ponds were excavated into existing embankments which required retaining wall installation. Tens of thousands of cubic metres of earth were moved as part of the cut and fill process to enable the pond's successful completion. The retaining walls are a proprietary root lock system installed in small bags stacked on top of each other, which interlock initially, but after time, the living element comes into play, where roots and vegetation take hold to provide additional stability. Little to no maintenance is required for this system, making it an environmentally sound initiative that has seen great success with this project and adheres to our environmentally friendly objectives. The Central Park SuDS project contributes to a greener future, aids carbon efficiency and improves potential for wildlife development. The environmental achievements of the scheme include an increase in biodiversity, it has provided natural habitat for existing fauna and attracted new wildlife to the area. The entire project has been a focus on environmental sustainability, and we are proud to have delivered such a successful scheme in the heart of Plymouth.
Okay, brilliant. 5 more fantastic projects in 3 more categories. Okay, so moving on to the award winners. The awards category we're going to deal with first is regeneration and retrofit for public buildings. And I am delighted to announce nothing. The winner is SuDS in Schools, the William Austin Junior School in Luton. Very, very well done. Yeah, Louise, come up and say a few words, and in the meantime, I'll just read out the judges' comments. The judges' comments included: loved the different approach to SuDS for schools. with serious incorporation of water reuse, more than just the usual water butts and planters. Great to hear the positive feedback from the teachers of how it's working. And the project will provide good learning for future generations. So it's really about passing it on. Louise, very welcome to say a few words.
I'm quite surprised. But also, I think it's important to say that this was definitely a partnership project. We couldn't have delivered it without all of the people that were acknowledged at the end. Also, all of the partners and additional people that didn't get onto the acknowledgement list, but I've realised were there as well. So many partners, lots of moving parts, having to do it in the school summer holidays with a very strict time window was a challenge. So yeah, thank you to CIRIA, thanks to Thames Water who pushed us to also put in the nomination. And yeah, thanks everyone.
Well done. Okay, there is a highly commended in this category as well, and the highly commended goes to SuDS for Schools, co-designing climate resilient, multifunctional outdoor spaces and playgrounds from the London Borough of Lewisham. Very well done. Marcus is here from Lewisham Council. The judges' comments included impressive SuDS retrofitted in 3 schools in deprived areas, involving children throughout the design and delivery process. Really well designed features, adding a lot to the environment and benefiting many people. So very, very well done. Okay, the next category is regeneration and retrofit large scale. And I am delighted to announce the winner is Wilbury Way Wetlands. Council, Wilbury Way Wetlands, that's a tongue twister, isn't it? It's nearly as bad at that as the Welsh. The judges' comments included retrofitting wetlands into urban parks is a challenging endeavour due to site constraints, the needs and wishes of local users. This project has demonstrated how to do this in a way that achieves multiple benefits to the environment, the residents who use the park, and the residents who live downstream and benefit from the reduction in flood risk. Michael, feel free to say a few words.
I'd just like to say thank you. It was a really challenging project. A lot of restraints. We kept the park open, vast change in levels and archaeological importance. But yeah, it shows that you can get things done. And a little thank you to Thames 21 who helped us with the funding. There was a lot of funders on this scheme because councils do struggle with that, but we got there and yeah, thank you very much.
Fantastic example. Very well done. Okay, and the next category is the catchment-based SuDS solutions. And I am delighted to announce that the winner is the flood mitigation and community flood resilience in Waltham Forest, submitted by the London Borough of the same name. So Kira Hansen and I believe Emily is online as well. So you've been up once, you get a chance to say a few words. Let me just read the judges' comments. A wide range of features across the wider catchment using both natural and more engineered solutions, resulting in significant benefits. Collaboration between a good number of organisations, which is the theme of the day really, isn't it? Including community flood action group. So I know Emily's online, but I know we're struggling for the communication. So if you want to say a few words, Kiara, feel free.
No worries. Thank you so much. I think that this particular kind of portfolio project, it's all about empowering local people to make informed decisions about what goes on in their area, including understanding what flood mitigation means. And we know that's led to like better supporting placemaking projects, more support from local people, and also more participation when we're going to households to ask them to sort of contribute and work together as a community. So that's been really successful. I'm just one person that's been working on some of these projects. I would just say that we're really interested in more innovation. So any technology or kind of behaviour change initiatives, we're really up for trying things in Waltham Forest, and also sharing anything that we can as a blueprint for anyone else to sort of use any lessons learned. So thank you very much.
Right. Control room. I'm very conscious that Emily might have been offered the opportunity to say a few words as well. Is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down? If Emily, thumbs down. Okay. I guess what has been said has been said. So very, very well done all. Okay, and there is a highly commended in this category. And delighted to announce that the Central Park SuDS project from Plymouth was awarded a highly commended, and I believe Jason, Jason, you're here online, you're here in person, and Rhiannon as well. Jason, you threw me there. You didn't have a Plymouth accent at all. As a fellow Northerner, I was like, very well done. The judges' comments on this project. The project improved the failing existing drainage system, using a more natural approach, reducing flood risk and improving biodiversity. It's great to see the recycling of existing materials and innovative earthworks to reduce costs and carbon outputs. Okay, brilliant. So we've had, that is the end of the individual categories. We've had a number of winners and highly commended. So the overall, there is an overall winner category. I'm nervous about clicking too fast here. But the winners of each of the categories are listed on the scheme. And there is a prize for the overall winner of the susdrain SuDS Awards in 2024. It says in my notes, big pause. But I'm delighted to announce, very well done. The overall winner of the SuDS Awards 2024 is the SuDS in Schools for William Austin Junior School in Luton. Welcome to add to your previous, but there are some additional judges' comments on this scheme. The project shows a change in mindset by using surface water as a resource rather than something to be disposed of, and in doing so raises the bar for SuDS for schools to the next level. Rainwater harvesting is so often overlooked. It's wonderful to see it incorporated, particularly in an area of water stress, a great example of true integrated water management. This is a project that brings real long-term value to school by helping them use less water and saving money on their water bill. So Louise, very, very well done. Cracking project. Please feel free to say a few words if you have anything to add.
Just thank you. I think it's a massive surprise to win the overall, and so I'm a bit shocked. But also, yeah, what you said, it's great to be able to not only store water but also reuse it, and that's something I'm quite passionate about. So I'm really happy that Luton was able to deliver this sort of project, but it wouldn't have happened without partners. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And obviously with the schools, there's fantastic opportunities for upscaling and taking the lessons and applying them elsewhere. And certainly within CIRIA, we've been talking with the Department for Education and the SuDS for Schools teams about exactly that. Okay, my colleague Adrian has just run around the corner for photos. Adrian, you're on, mate. Just remains for me to hand over to Adrian, who's just going to give us one or two closing remarks to take away from today. Adrian, over to you.
All right, everyone, we're almost there. So I just wanted to say a few words before we head upstairs to enjoy the sun and a drink. So first of all, the very special awards that we have today, that we had. So Louise, actually my colleague told me that Louise was actually logging in. She was logged in, and so she saw the wonderful presentation of the award that she received today. So it was really, it's fantastic that she was able to actually attend. Okay. I would like to congratulate all the winners again. Very many inspire, it's great schemes from small to large, a lot of inspiration over there, a lot of great ideas, a lot of things that do work that we want to showcase and promote through susdrain. Also, a lot of projects on plots, a lot of schemes trying to capture the water within the red line and really trying to do as much things, you know, so many benefits out of this water within the plot. So this is really fantastic. And it's, I would say it's a highlight of this year's award cycle. We've added a couple new categories to try to really showcase this kind of projects, and we were not disappointed. I would like to give a huge thank you to our host, Arup. It's been fantastic to be here. Amazing offices, spaces, technology. And it was really good to be out there walking on the sun and to really learn about the incredible schemes that we saw today. Let's see, here we go. Okay, a couple of things to keep in mind. We are organizing a series of events, but just so you know that towards the Q4, Q3, Q4, we will have a webinar on susdrain. The theme to showcase some of the winners of today. Another big thank you to our partners and supporters. Without you, we couldn't have such an event. So you are making such events possible, and thanks to you, we have such a vibrant community. So thank you for that. Arup, once again, thank you. And congratulations to all the winners. Amazing project on the board. Okay, so with that, I think, let's see. Oh, yes. I would like to thank the team that has done so much behind the screen. So a big round of applause for our events and marketing team. So we have Charlotte Draper, Aidan Carter, Susan Richard, Tam Simmons, and Enrico Coppola. Please. Okay, we hope that you really enjoyed the ceremony today. And we are really thrilled to learn from Cardiff and Wales once again. And we hope that we are going, well, we hope that the whole UK is going to follow on your through your footsteps. You see what I mean? You get it. You're doing great stuff. Hopefully England is going to do also great stuff in the near future. All right, please join us to toast our winners. Drinks and nibbles are available until 6:45 upstairs. And for those of you joining us for dinner, we will walk to the restaurants no later than 7 p.m. But first, we would like to do a group photo. So that's going to be upstairs, I believe, or here? Yeah. Here, okay, group photo here. So if you can just all the winners and the highly commended. Thank you so much.
Okay, right. Thank you.